Say that again? Yes.
All right, team. It is 11 o'clock on the dot. I'm gonna set my phone because I can talk about these things for 3 straight days. Super excited to be able to spend the morning with you. We're being streamed. Other friends are seeing us. Hello, friends. Welcome to the 25-26 school year. Let's kiss our brains because we decided to say yes to this work. Because this is very hard work to do, and because we made a decision to be here. So the conversation today is about creating a culture of excellence. I am Gabi Jimenez, the Academic Superintendent for Literacy, and I'm here with my colleague and friend.
I'm Don Jagman, I'm the Discipline Manager. You're going to see a lot of Dr. Gabi and I together this year. We're really trying to merge how we're creating that positive culture and climate for students will help elevate literacy excellence for all. So we're really trying to embed this work together. So I'll talk a little bit at the end about that.
Perfect, thank you so much. We're going to try to do this in 30 minutes or so. It is counterintuitive for people when they hear me and they're like, Academic Superintendent for Literacy. Peculiar, how about that accent? So some of the things that I want to share today are deeply connected to who I am as a human being. So I want to spend just a few minutes sharing with you what are some of the conditions that allowed me to get here. The first day of school in 1995, my flight landed in the United States. I was a foreign exchange student. I was enrolled to be a senior in high school, and I was coming with absolutely no use of English. My parents thought that it was a good idea that I developed a language other than Spanish. Spanish is my home language, and a host family had accepted me, so I came in. It was the first time that I was going to school, in public schools. It was the first time that I was not wearing a uniform, because in my home country of Costa Rica, we wore uniforms all the time. In 1995, Oshkosh by Gosh was a big thing. I don't know if you remember these ones. They were like $200 in the Miami airport. I spent all my money in 1995. That was a lot of money. Like all the money I had for the first 6 months, I'm like, Oshkosh by Gosh. So I was really proud. I showed up to school. A senior, and I went to the principal's office and they gave me my calendar, my schedule for the day. They gave me a map of the school, and I was, despite the fact that I spoke no English, I could read a map. I made it to my first hour class, to my second hour class, but between my second and my third hour class, I needed to go to the bathroom, like true story. And I have seen the bathroom was inside the gymnasium. So how many minutes do you have between classes here? 4? Okay, in 1995 there were 2 minutes. 2 minutes, right? For a change student kid, overalls, imagine, right? So I make it to the line. By the time I get to the stall, the bell rings, and I panic. And my overalls fell into the toilet. And like the immensity of the day, the fact that I was in a different country, that I did not speak the language, crushed me. So I sat there crying while like the water kept on seeping up into the overalls. It seemed to me like it was an eternity ago, but I'm sure it was like 4 minutes, after this had happened, that I hear it was the police officer from the building. And she thought that I was being unkind or not polite by not answering. I did not understand exactly what was happening. Short story, I ended up in the principal's office. There was no one in the office that spoke any Spanish. I had to wait what seemed again like an eternity for someone to come out on the speaker. You remember speakers on the phones? And this was what was translated for me. I don't care who you are or what you are doing. If you cause me any trouble, I will deport you and your family. Have you seen Maleficent, the Disney movie? Give me a thumbs up if you listen. Like, you know, like a Genesis story? Like, that was kind of my Genesis story. Like, I have never in my life felt so powerless, so ashamed, so afraid, so terrified, and I really needed to dig deep into the things that I believed about myself, and the things that I believe, and I had evidence were true about myself, to be able to go to school the next day, and the remainder of the day. Like, they told me that I could go home, for example, to get a change of clothes. I was a foreign exchange student. Like, my family was at work. Like, there was no one. Like, I sat there smelling like pee all day. There was, despite the fact that that was a really difficult day for me, I was really, really fortunate in the sense that my family went and created a ruckus, and the ruckus resulted into having a human supporting me for about 25 minutes every day with a single goal, which was to teach me how to read in English. So the conversation about reading and me ended up here, like so many years later, as the academic superintendent of literacy, is because literacy was, in fact, the one thing for me that allowed me to do this. I graduated with honors 10 months later. And I was able to complete all the credits required for graduation in 1995. I cannot tell you what they were. I know that I had to take econ and something else. This was before the standards. But anyway, I was able to do that. So like literacy became this one thing for me. And because of that, it's like a really important like rally cry and the work that I do. So the accent connected to the mission and the work. So we spoke a little bit about this. For our friends that are seeing us in the video, if you could get your phones, we could have done some QR codes and something to write with. That will be lovely. So I think that clarity is love. When you have an accent like I do, one of the things that I'm really thoughtful about is ensuring that the things that I'm seeing are the things that I am saying are the things that people are hearing, right? So that there is a connect between the message that I'm trying to deliver and the message that you receive. So in essence, oh, John is going to die. How is that even possible? No? Okay, perfect. So this is the intent. Do you remember the Thundercats? Did anybody watch the Thundercats? You remember the Thundercats? Each Thundercat lived in their own planet, but when they have something, like Monra, you remember Monra? When Monra did something, they sent a Thundercat call, and all the Thundercats came for a little bit to work together, and they went back. So that is exactly the trick that I'm trying to play on the organization, for the friends on the video too. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not asking anyone to stop doing the work that they're doing. I am posing, however, whether or not we can find will, because that's all that we need, to be able to intentionally ensure that kids in MPS learn how to read. Because it is not an issue of whether or not kids can read, it's whether or not we are going to will ourselves to be able to do that work. So, be a Thundercat. You know, that's the intent, to be a Thundercat. The good news about being a Thundercat is that being a Thundercat doesn't mean that you need to do anything that is substantially different from the work that MPS had already decided to engage in prior to my arrival, or prior to Dr. Caselio's arrival, or prior to anything. Before we got here, as an organization, it has been decided that this was our framework, that we're going to work for ambitious instruction to accelerate learning. The only thing that I am adding to this sauce is clarity. I'm like, yeah, that's cute, but this is exactly how it looks like for this grade level, right? Like, yes, this is cute, but this is how we will know if we in fact are making gains that are gap closing gains for our students. So, the good news is you were already kind of a Thundercat. Now you're going to Thundercat with a plan to be able to get there. This is our goal, this is our aspiration, this is what we believe and research supports can happen. Overwhelmingly, all of our students should be able to read if we are able to deliver daily instruction that actually connects to the way in which the brain requires to be able to learn how to read, to encode, to decode, to have the language development that is connected to it. And the call of action here is that when we say all will read, that we mean absolutely all students. It means the newcomers. It means that kiddos that sometimes are not behaving. It means absolutely every single one of the babies. It requires a shift in the way that we think. If we say that all the kiddos are going to read, it means that first and foremost, we need to allow ourselves the opportunity of thinking about our babies in a way that is different. It means, in essence, that we must have a proleptic stance for them. This is the way that I explain prolepsis to my own adult children. Prolepsis means that you're going to hold someone in your hand, and then you're going to recognize all their gifts and all their faults. And you're going to gently blow away the faults or the gaps or the academic gaps. And you're going to make a decision that for the time that you have them in your class or in your presence, you're going to treat them as if they're absolutely capable of doing the work that you desire for them. It's a tough thing. I don't know about you, I was a teacher in a classroom long enough that by the time that I got some of the kids, I knew their mama, I knew their older siblings, I knew, right? But that meant that I needed to pause all those things and say, for the 45 minutes that you're in the class with me, I am going to deliver, for example, grade level instruction, even though I know that you are 3 grade levels behind, 5 grade levels behind. Because by being in the presence of grade level instruction, I'm creating an acceleration path for you. It doesn't mean that I am not going to give you time or the opportunities to engage in the fundamental pieces that are being missed. But it means that you're also going to get to read The Great Gatsby, for example, right? What is interesting about having a proleptic stance with the students is that we need to have a proleptic stance with each other. It means that we're coming back to spaces where we sometimes know our colleagues really well, and we know what are the strengths and we know what are the things about them that are not supporting students. So the call of action here is that if all students are going to be able to read, we're all going to have to teach. And all also means all. It means that sometimes we're entering the space and we're in an emergency license. Sometimes the way that the scheduling work, 2 of the 6 classes that I'm teaching are classes for which I am not yet licensed. And maybe I don't plan to be licensed because I'm just filling a gap for the next 3 weeks. But I'm still going to have to make a commitment to see myself as someone that is perfectly able and willing to be able to engage in the labor of doing that work and delivering that instruction. Because if all will read, then we'll all have to teach. This is the part about teaching that is tricky, or minimally what I have learned. I am not really good at cooking. I'm really good at eating. Have any of you found yourselves in a situation? Like my husband's a great cook. People cook in my house. I'm great at eating. So a lot of my analogies are about food. So think about, let's think about this year as making the first pancake. I am going to be sharing with you something that you're going to be like, really? It's the first pancake. We have tried it a way, let's try it this other way. Okay? The only way in which I have become good, let's say not a master, but good at doing something was by allowing myself to be really slow and really not good in the beginning. Jennifer is my neighbor. We were like legit neighbors, like next to each other neighbors. And I believe myself, like in my imagination, I'm a runner. Like in my heart, I'm like, I'm gonna put my tennis and I'm going to run. In reality, I have seen myself like in the little Bing camera. I look like a panda. I'm thinking in my heart, I'm going like super fast. I'm like the Wonder Woman, but in reality, I look like a panda. And I'm like, it doesn't matter because I have a proleptic stance about myself in relationship to my ability to run. I'm just not gonna look myself in the camera, right? I am hoping that if I continue to look like a panda, maybe for the next 3 years, I will look like Wonder Woman. I don't know. But it's the same thing, right? Like, if we're gonna be slow and like panda looking, runners, it's the same thing with a pancake. Like the only way in which we're gonna get good at doing something is if we allow ourselves the time to own the apprenticeship. So what I am sharing with you today, please consider to hold on the apprenticeship Because the sooner that we embrace the apprenticeship and we're willing to be not really good, we will get better. Okay, so remember, like by the 10 pancake, they all look like this. This is me. Yes. All right. In order to be able to do this, to ensure that all of our kiddos are going to be readers, that we're going to engage in a gap closing strategy, we need to be able to hold a couple beliefs. We need to have prolepsis about ourselves, prolepsis about our kids, but we also need to go back and think about what is Tier 1 instruction and what is the standards alignment and how is it that that exists within the high quality instructional materials, right? So we need to think about the value of daily core instruction. If we are investing and we're baking our pancakes, right? Like our pancakes are standards aligned lessons, daily lessons, then we want all of our children to be fed. You're not gonna make pancakes and tell 40% of your class that they don't get to eat. That's rude, right? If we're gonna cook, we want all the children to benefit from the food that you're cooking. So that means that all students should have access to this daily instruction. All of them. Everybody. Because that's the feast that we're serving. If we're cooking and the kiddos are going to be fed, it will only make sense that we're delivering the instruction in a way that is aligned to the research. Let's say that I'm cooking and all the kids are coming, but I'm delivering instruction in a way that is not aligned to the research about reading and writing. So the kiddos will still not be fed. Does that make sense? So we want to stay true to these 3 belief systems. This is the part of the phone. Oh, let's wait for them to get the phone. Thank you. I hope that it works. I'm on day 35 on the job, and like the QR code's very tricky here. There's a lot of security in MPS, lots of security. It's not working. Oh, you need to be connected to your MPS account. Otherwise, we will email it, but we're gonna show it here, okay? Show me, did you get it? Everybody.
Good.
Got it? Thank you for showing me a thumbs up. We will send it, fear not, but I wanna show you.
Oh, put it back up to me.
Yeah, put it back on. Okay, so, if we're cooking, it's important that we're cooking from the same recipe book, right? We want this to be a meal that makes sense. So, we have, the academics team has been working tirelessly to put together instructional guides. I'm gonna open the 11th grade. I'm gonna be recorded. I don't know that I want to record it, but it's gonna be recorded just the same. For example, one of the things that I found out, I'm on day 35 on the job. On day 35 on the job, is that for grades 11 and 12, I was not able to find a record that we have adopted core instructional materials for the teaching of English language arts in 11th and 12th. Does that sound like a true story to you? True story? Yes, Anna? Okay, so I was like, Superintendent of Academics, literacy, I better have something there. So, for 11th grade, if you are a classroom teacher for 11th grade, I'm not telling you to get rid of your lessons. I just want the video to record that. I'm just saying that if you don't want to read of Mice and Men for the 11th time, right, that we are pulling from an open source resource that is Common Lit, and that here's some guidance, and it's a free resource, and then the academics team can support you on that. For 9th and 10th grade, the district purchased core instructional resources. The resources are on the way. I do want this recorded for the friends in 9th and 10th grade. The resources are a little behind. They are coming. They are not here yet, but fear not. We also have guidance here for 9th and 10th grade to support the teams for the first few weeks of school. The name of the game here is clarity. We want to be absolutely certain that clarity is not getting on the, oh, something happened, you see? Peculiar. It is there, we're gonna send it again. But just making sure that for literacy, and I know that I'm speaking to a lot of friends, not everybody does literacy, that the guidance is being provided. And what is interesting about the guidance is that it allows us to make sense not only on the text and the tasks, but also the skills. John, I'm talking so much today. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna hurry. I'm gonna throw second gear right now. Okay, why is this woman making such a big fuss about high quality instructional materials? I want to use my hands as puppets because this is kind of important. So in 2018, TNTP, that is a huge research organization, was sent out into the universe to answer a single question. Let's see if this sounds like reality for you. This was the question. Why is it that overwhelmingly in K-12 schools in the United States, we send report cards? And overwhelmingly, the report cards, I'm gonna check for you, the report cards say the kids are okay, right? Overwhelmingly, the report cards say the kids are okay, thank you, nothing to see here, the kiddos are okay. Those same human children that are receiving the report cards, when we assess using a test that is standardized, that is standards aligned, that has a commentary quality, depending on the age and the grade, it has some predictability, it's valid and reliable, those same kids, not okay. So we're sending a report card that say kids are okay, and at the same time when we test the kids, kids not okay. So they had to ask the question, what is happening in between? So this is what was happening in between. 85% of the students were rising to the expectations set by teachers. True story, I am a parent of 4. Overwhelmingly, my kiddos do my will. My students would too. 85% of the time. So of course, in the report card, they're like, yep, we're okay. But the rigor of the daily instruction was not the rigor of the standard. Plot twist. I was licensed in 1999. I was licensed before standards came. Like, I'm speaking some truth. Right? In the state of Wisconsin, if you're a plumber, you need to recertify every 6 years because plumbing changes. Teaching, I don't know. Right? There was a gap. So high quality instructional materials remove that variable. They ensure that the text, that the task, and the standards are visible. So we can do the work that we do, which is teaching. So using the high quality instructional materials really get us into a space in which then kiddos can rise to our expectations, or to the expectation of the standards. Something else that is important is that high quality instructional materials are written on the back of the simple view of reading, which shows us what are the capabilities needed by the human brain to be able to engage in reading and writing for meaning. So, overwhelmingly, humans are recognizing words in text. They are multiplying in their brain that capability with their ability to understand language comprehension, syntax, pragmatic sentence types, connected text, and the multiplication of A and B results into reading comprehension. So this is what we want. QR code. Do you want to scan it? Let's scan a QR code. I can do this in 1 minute. I'm so sorry. Thank you. 1 page. Okay. So you remember when I said accent, academic superintendent, literacy, making sure that what I say is what people hear? Clarity is my favorite love language. My favorite. My favorite. Right? You want to love me? Speak clearly to me. Tell me, Gabi, not that, this. Right? Don't use conditionals. The 1-pagers, I'm going to show them here, come as an absolute place of love and respect. If we are saying that every student is going to read in the district, and all of us are willing to make a decision to teach so that happens, it would only be honest that we operationalize what is needed for every grade level for that to happen. True story, yes? So the 1-pagers come from that place. The architecture of the 1-pagers is really similar in that each of the tabs, you see them on the side, has 5 components. 1, 2, 3, and 5 are exactly the same. Easy. Why? Because the conditions to deliver high quality instruction are the same regardless of the grade level, regardless of the language of instruction, regardless of program type. These things are true. They're true. 4 out of the 5 are the same. Now number 4, in the other hand, is a little bit tricky. So I'm gonna go on record and on the video to say the scary part. Are you ready? Stay with me. Okay, for 9th through 12th grade, matchy, right? We need the high quality instructional materials. John is gonna talk to us about a classroom culture that is fundamental. We are going to be leveraging the intentions, really matchy, prioritizing student talk, of course, but then it says here, okay, I want to look at the camera. We're okay for this, okay? You remember the simple way of reading of word recognition and language comprehension? Let me tell you a true story. There are things about word recognition that regardless of your age, if you don't acquire, they will impede you from reading. For example, long vowels. Long vowels, menaces. Menaces, I'm telling you, they're really tricky. There are 9 different ways to spell long vowel U. True story. Now, 85% of the times, there's one spelling type that you can predict will happen if you hear the long vowel U in the beginning of the word, or if it is at the end, or if it is locked inside of a syllable. But who told us that? Who tells the babies that? So, the fact of the matter is that we need to attend to some of those things. So, when you get to number 4 for 912 and you click here, it says snapping. It says snapping, but if you would have, oh no, I broke it. You know, this is building it's a technology. If you would have been able to see it, but you will because now you have access to it, we will reload it and we're gonna send it. There would have been a Google Doc, and the Google Doc has different tabs. And one would have been, these are the word recognition skills, I wanna try again, that are absolutely fundamental for our adolescents. I'm gonna try, because I feel adventurous today. No, it's not even letting me click. Anyway, it's going to have word recognition skills. Now, it is not lost in me that many of us, as staff that supports older students, we're like, are you serious? We have to teach the doubling rule? Kids need the doubling rule. I just don't know how to tell you. Like, are you serious? We're gonna have to look at vowel teams? True story. Now, I am not asking people to go on a journey and do this on their own. You will be supported. We will all be supported. The academics team is going to be releasing by October 8th about 12 lessons, because that is all that is needed for adolescents to really be able to close. And we're not going to be sending you decorables that have teddy bears or anything like that. These are going to be for adolescents. But the name of the game is that we need those things. In the same document, you're going to see some content about sentence variety. Sentence, like, meaning is lost in a single sentence. You can be reading The Lord of the Rings, like a ninja. You know what I mean? You get to the 3rd chapter and you lose meaning in one sentence and everything goes downhill from there. So sentence variety is something that is really important. So know that those 2 things, thank you, are coming and are, well, now it doesn't even click anymore. I broke it completely. And let's say, we have to do this one more time, and I broke it. I apologize.
When in doubt, reboot.
Reboot. So spend some time in the one-pagers. There is a date that is named. It says by March 2nd, 2026. Please write that date in your notebooks. March 2nd, 2023. People are like, why on earth March 2nd? Why is it important that by March 2nd, our adolescents have acquired these fundamental skills? March 2nd, 2026 is T minus 45 school days. I want no sad stories on the last day of school. If we know that a kiddo have not acquired these skills, by March 2nd, 2026, people will need to throw second gear. We need to throw second gear because it is important that every single baby is engaging in this learning. I'm going to pass it to Jan because we're going to talk about the way that we're kicking up the gear.
All right, thank you, Dr. Gabi. I'm going to continue with that metaphor theme of food and cooking. I don't know who came up with it first. If you like it, you can thank me for that. If you kind of find it not working, you can blame Dr. Gabi on that. But we both kind of built this up at the same time. As we look at culture and climate this school year, the theme is going to be we are cooking. I like to cook. That's one of those things that bring me joy, and we're going to reflect on that in just a moment. When I like to cook, what I like about it is you can kind of put your own little pizzazz on it. You can put your own little, oh, I like to add this and like that. That's how we're looking at school culture this year. We are going to provide you all with a bunch of ingredients. this is gonna work here, I want this, and we're gonna add it to what we're cooking in our classrooms. The analogy I'm using is we're building like chili, we're cooking chili. So there's some key ingredients we need in our chili, otherwise we're just making like minestrone. So we need some tomato paste in there, we need some cumin, we need some chili powder, beans, we gotta get that going. That is what we're looking at here with these 5 components of school culture. We are not changing direction. Those of you who have been engaging in this work in the past, we're staying in the same direction. The newest students, K-3 students walking through our buildings, 12th graders walking out of our buildings, we all want to have these same 5 things. Relationships, those expectations, procedures in our classrooms, developing those skills. What skills do our students need to be successful in these spaces? How are we responding to behavior? So what are those strategies that we have that we can utilize? And how are we acknowledging our students? How are we having students feel good and positive about the choices that they're making? Those are the ingredients we are all going to start with. Then we're going to provide a plethora of other ingredients for individuals to choose from, because all those are going to look different in different classrooms and different spaces. So this is a variety of different things that we are going to be offering as, again, like these ingredients that we're going to add to our spaces. You know your spaces best. We have people on the back end that know best practice, that know research best, and we're going to provide those to you, but you know your classrooms best on what are those things that can help support your students. But we're going to start with those 5 universal supports. I'm going to talk about one thing we're going to add to all of our schools here today is this idea of cultivating joy. So I want you to just take a moment and think for yourself, how do you define joy? What does joy mean to you? And just self-reflect on what is one thing that brings you joy outside of work? And then what is one thing that brings you joy at work? And just think about that for a moment. And it's important to remember that as educators, the school year is hard, the school year gets long. We need to make sure that we're cultivating our own joy, finding those things in our jobs, outside of our jobs that bring us joy and happiness and vigor and get us re-engaged in everything. So what are those things for you? Then this school year, we're really going to emphasize how we are cultivating joy for our students in our classrooms. Teaching is hard, life is hard. We know in Milwaukee Public Schools, we have many students who are facing many adversities in life. They are fighting against many things and maybe don't have as many opportunities for joy in their life. So how can we make sure we have our spaces in our classrooms that we have that for students? So again, some of those ingredients we are creating for folks to kind of learn more about and to incorporate into what we're cooking is how we can play music in classrooms and meetings, in virtual settings, all that kind of stuff. Having morning meetings, student-centered activities, paired teamwork, daily positive affirmations, just affirming and lifting up each other and our students. Smiles, it sends endorphins through you. Those who receive the smiles, it sends endorphins through us. Brain breaks, mindfulness, short games for content review. Some classrooms have like a joy bulletin board, which is the space. Kids are in a soccer tournament, they can, boom, go up there and post a picture of them at the soccer tournament to just uplift everyone that's in that community. So joy is going to be a big theme of ours this school year and how we are cultivating joy for each other and our students. And then the last thing we're looking to add this year is an intervention called the 2x10 intervention. Many folks have been doing this for years and years, but we're going to kind of more stylize it this year and make it more mainstream and more accessible to all. So first, kind of the why of why MPS is going to be focusing on the 2x10 is it builds school connectedness. And it's intentional community building for those students who are the least likely to feel part of your school community. The student wellness survey last year showed about, and it's different at school, it's different at grade level, but about 1 out of every 3 6th to 12th graders and about 1 out of every 4 or 5 elementary students disagree or strongly disagree that they feel connected to the school, that they belong to school. So that's 75% do, that is a positive. But we have to know, on average, come next Tuesday, 1 out of 3 of those middle and high school students by the end of the year are going to say they don't feel connected to school, that they don't belong at school. 2x10 is a way for help us to grab those students specifically to bring them into the fold and kind of bring them into that community. So I know there's another QR code. I'm not going to go through it because it's the same thing I'm talking about, but you will get it. But if you want to scan that QR code while I'm talking through it here for a moment, please do. But what is 2x10? It is an intervention just with identified students. This is not something you're doing across your whole classroom, or if you're in high school, you're doing across the whole day and 100-some students. It's just for those identified students that don't feel like they have that connection. And the staff member has a personal, positive, and non-school performance-based conversation for 2 minutes with that student. So that means that kid maybe hasn't turned in homework for a week, maybe has been late 5 times this week, maybe kind of said something under the breath as they walked into the room. You can address all those situations, but during this 2 minutes, we talk to that student about their excitement for the Packers season, or going to the Brewer game last week and what was that like. We're talking to that student about what they want to talk about in a personal, positive, non-school related conversation. It's for 2 minutes a day, for 10 days straight. And then research shows they have a different connection to the school, and you as the adult have a different connection to that student. So we're laying out this SOP. We have a little module that we can share for folks. There's also an hour session, depending on your availability the rest of this day, one of those optional sessions throughout the day. We have a team that are doing a full hour on this. But the real quickly, brief how is we identify students. So those students who don't feel connected. It can be connected to their behavior, their attendance, their academic input, their engagement. We're just asking folks to commit to 2 minutes a day. The intervention is for 2 minutes a day. You have that student-centered and positive conversation with the student. We ask you to be present and genuine with the student. You can share about yourself and all that in it. Well, I also went to a Brewer game. I also am excited about the Packers season. But it's about the student. What do they want to talk about? Conversation takes place for 10 days. And we know we might be working with some students that have less than stellar attendance. It's 10 days they're there. That may take 3 weeks. That may take a month. But it's about every time you're here for 10 days, I'm going to engage with you and bring you into the school community. A little bit deeper into the weeds here real quick. We do have a POP contact log. We're going to ask schools to just put it in there one time so we can pull that data. It's not every time I meet with them and I'm entering all this data. I'm just indicating, yep, John was part of the 2x10. It's going to be part of some school SIPs. It's also going to help us show the data that we are having students that before and after are having different outcomes in the school. And then the intervention ends at the end of those 10 days, asking for a positive phone call home, just connecting with John's mom and dad. Hey, I've had a lot of great conversations. I didn't realize how much he was into this or that you guys went on this trip. I'm really glad he's in my class and I really look forward to the rest of the school year. A real positive just to connect to that family as well to show the trajectory of that. So that's it. I'm going to ask if Dr. Gabi has anything else, but just remember that we're going to have all these ingredients available for you. And we want you to be the experts in those spaces of what's going to work best to meet the needs of your students.
Just a thank you and have a wonderful beginning of the school year. Thanks.
I just had to say behind this young. I'm talking a lot last year.